Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Skye and today we're going to be swatching some new single shadows in my collection. Now these are the shadows that I have right here. Basically I wanted to compile all of these into one video because I didn't have enough to do an individual video on each of these, so I thought that I would just lump them all together and we can have a fun little swatch party together. Now a lot of these brands I'm going to be mentioning are new to me, so if you're curious, we're going to be swatching some Enchanted Lustre, JD Glow, Shine by SD, one Cleona, and one Stinky Pop shadow. Some of these I bought myself, some of these were gifted from friends, but anyways, let's get started and do a bit of swatching together. Here is a close-up look of all of them all together. We can kind of sense a theme here. I don't know what it is, but I'm so drawn to these colours, and I didn't really have that many of these shades in my collection, so I thought I'd expand on that. Let's just dive on right in. So the first brand we're going to be swatching is Enchanted Lustre Cosmetics. They are an Australian-based indie brand, and we know me, I have an affinity towards Australian brands as an Aussie myself, so I was really excited to try them. Now the four shadows that I have from Enchanted Lustre, they're from their Dragon Prism 2 palette. You can buy the palette all together or you can buy them as singles, which is what I did. And this first shade right here is Chrono Prism. It is a beautiful antique gold with a green and blue sheen in it. It's definitely a multi-chrome, as we can see. It's so pretty. The formula from Enchanted Lustre is quite soft, very pigmented. I mean, look at that on my finger. It is so foiled and smooth. As we can see, I barely tapped my finger in. I think we're just gonna swatch these all on my arm. So this right here is Chrono Prism from Enchanted Lustre. How gorgeous is that? If I show it off like this, you can see the multi-chrome sheen in it. It is so stunning. This is a dupe for Old Mate from the Glaminatrix You Beauty palette. I have mentioned it in my duping video. It is so stunning and so gorgeous. I can't. It also has a brown base to it. Now one of my good friends, Katie, she has the Dragon Prism 2 palette, so if you want to see like all the formulas in that palette, I will link her posts down below on Instagram. It's a great summary if you're curious. I find that the shadows within the Dragon Prism 2 collection from Enchanted Lustre, there are different formulas. Like this one right here is a multi-chrome. This one that I'm going to be showing is a more flaky metallic. This is Flare Prism. And this formula especially is very soft. It almost feels like a copacetic flaky, except definitely more creamy and smooth, not as rough. And I'm just going to be patting into the pan because I feel like if you swirl, you pick up far too much product. And that right there is Flare Prism. It's a beautiful gold metallic, and that is Flare Prism right there. It looks very similar to Chrono Prism in this swatch, but trust me, they are quite different. If I show it off in this lighting, you can see that Chrono Prism from Enchanted Lustre is a multi-chrome. Flare Prism is just a metallic. The next Enchanted Lustre shade is Sonic Prism, and this is an aqua with a gold sheen. Aqua is a bit of a loose term. It's quite a unique tone of like blue-green. It's not really a teal. It's not quite an aqua. It's very unique. Especially when I show it from this angle, it is more blue, but then you can see the more like greyish green tinge to it. It's very fascinating. And this formula I find is very similar to Flare Prism, a bit more flaky and metallic. As we can see on my finger, super sparkly. And that is Sonic Prism right there. This is such a unique shade. Like, I don't really have any blue in my collection quite like it. And when I show it from this angle, you can see the more aqua green sheen in it, and definitely the most unique out of the four that I have. This is Toxic Prism. This is kind of like a greyish tone green. I don't really know how to describe this colour either. It is so different. And that is what it looks like on the finger. And here we have Toxic Prism. Do you see what I mean? The tone is so unique. It's almost like an olive green with a bit of grey in it. I feel like Enchanted Lustre are a heavily underrated brand. I really enjoy the formulas in here. They last lovely on my eyes. I have found no issues with any of these shadows lasting on my eyes. I have oily eyelids. I use the Milani eyeshadow primer and they all work beautifully. I will say though, Enchanted Lustre is a little bit more expensive and shipping's a bit more expensive since they are an Australian brand. And for that reason, I don't think I'd order from them too often, but I am eyeing up their Fluoro Prisms, I believe. I'll put a picture of them right here. Those are stunning. That green, I need that green in my life. I definitely want a few of those shades, 100%. But if you live in Australia and you're looking for some more Australian brands, I highly recommend Enchanted Lustre. They are awesome. And also the brand owner is fucking sweet as hell. I love Ree. Now we're moving on to some JD Glow shadows. These shadows were sent to me by my friend Tyra, 100 palettes later on Instagram. If you don't know, JD Glow does these massive fuck off eyeshadow pans, like sugar pill size pans. That kind of bothers me. I can deal with it with sugar pill because like I have sugar pill like pro palettes and that makes sense to me. But other pan sizes, just give me a standard 26mm pan, and Tyra is the exact same, so she repanned her JD Glow and she had enough in the pan for two 26mm, and she was sending me a package anyway, so she asked me, hey, do you want these JD Glow shadows? And I said, hell the fuck yes. I've always wanted to try JD Glow, but the pan sizes always put me off, and now I have them in beautiful 26mm. I highly recommend that if you want to try JD Glow but you're put off by the pan sizes, go half and half with a friend and then just repan the shadows so you both get 26mm pans. But the first shade we have to mention is the famous Unexpected. This is a light taupe with silver and purple shifts in it. And this formula is super creamy, very smooth when you put your finger in the pan. And that is Unexpected on the finger. I feel like this shade is very neutral compared to some of these other ones, as we can see right here, of that taupe base. But because it has that blue, purple, silver shine in it, it just looks wet on your eyes and it looks so stunning. Because it's neutral but also still interesting, and I really do enjoy that. The next shade we have here is 365. This is definitely more of a gold eyeshadow. The formula among all JD Glow shadows is very smooth and creamy across the board. There's no differentiation, I find. That is 365. I think I picked up too much on my finger. And that is her swatched out. Super creamy, like insanely creamy. And clearly I will not have a deficit of any form of gold. I have all the golds I need now. It reminds me a lot of Chrono Prism from Enchanted Lustre, but less multi-chrome. But similar vibes, I'd say. The next shade from JD Glow, now this one is my favorite of the four. This is Good God, and this is a light lavender with a blue sheen. Bitch, every time I wear this, I get compliments, and that is the best fucking feeling. I remember once I was at work, and while I was talking with customers, I had 4 different customers ask me what I was wearing on my eyes, and I was wearing Good God, and I mean, just look. She doesn't really need much introduction, because look at that. It is so bright and intense. It's such a fantastic shade. I even use this on my inner corners on many occasions. I feel like when I hold up my arm like this, you can just really see the shine. It's so magical, isn't it? Oh my god, I love sparkly shadows, man. Even though I am more excited application-wise by matte eyeshadows, Swatch and shimmers is just another experience. The final JD Glow shadow is Watermark, and this is a very deep blue. Now, if you know me, normally I don't really gravitate towards shadows like these. It's just a bit too dark of a shimmer for me to use all over my lid. But on the off chance that I do need a deep shimmer, I don't own many in my collection, so I feel like this really does serve a purpose. And that is Watermark. God damn, she really came to play. I really want to do like a shimmer graphic liner with this shade. I think that would look so cool, and that would be how I would wear it on most occasions. But like I mentioned, I don't have many dark shimmers in my collection, so that is pretty damn unique to me. The next brand I'm going to be mentioning is Shine by SD. Oh my god. This is one of the brands I really wanted to try this year, and the 3 shadows I got from them are from their Reserve collection. So let's go in order. This is Reserve number 2, and this is a light goldish colour with a bit of a green aqua shift in it. This shade reminds me a lot of Penthouse from the Sashimi City palette by Kaleidos, and also Gumballs by Davina. So if you ever wanted to find a single of Penthouse from Kaleidos, I think this is your boy. That's what it looks like on the finger. These shadows are they're very interesting feeling, that they're quite like, they feel a lot like copacetic flaky shadows. They're quite rough in the pan, which that sounds very unappealing, and putting my finger in the pan, it does feel a bit fucking wrong, but these apply so beautifully onto your eyes. It's magical. So let's swatch Reserve number 2. Now I do have to mention that these don't swatch the best, I find. You do have to kind of smooth them out a bit because they are a bit more of a rough texture. And I know Shine by SD has multiple formulas, so maybe that's just a thing with the Reserve shadows. But even though they feel a bit rough and they do swatch a bit dodgy, on the eyes, these are so stunning. You can kind of see the shift a bit in there. Now I gotta be honest, I think out of all the shadows that I'm mentioning today, this is probably my favourite one. I think it is. I have to say it. This is Reserve number 5 from Shine by SD. It's a beautiful iridescent purple with a gold sheen. This reminds me a lot of Glazed by Clionadh. However, this one is more of a cool toned purple and the multi-chrome shift in it isn't as strong as the Clionadh one. Again, very flaky on the finger. And that is Reserve number 5. You kind of have to smooth them out quite a lot with your finger, but these do apply very nicely, especially over a glitter glue or a tacky base. I use Fair&A Pixie Epoxy and these work stunning over the top of that. And when you apply Reserve number 5 on your eyes, it just looks like a sparkly UV light. It's insane. It's so stunning. The final shadow from Shine by SD is Reserve number 6, and this is an aqua shimmer. And that's what it looks like on the finger. And now let's swatch it out. I think we'll just about have enough room on my arm for the last 2 shadows. Now I will say when I did order from Shine by SD, I bought 3 shadows for myself and 3 for a friend, and 3 of the shadows came a bit cracked. Now I do know that Shine by SD have a few issues with their shadows arriving a little bit cracked. Thankfully, the formula is that type of formula that you can squidge in the pan and get it looking fine, but these are very fragile, these shadows. Probably one of the more fragile eyeshadows in my collection. And thankfully they didn't arrive completely smashed, only a bit cracked, so they were easy to fix. But that is something to keep in note, that be a bit careful when you order from Shine by SD. The penultimate shadow we're going to be talking about is this little baby from Clionadh, and this is Heiress. I'm unsure of which formula line this came from, so I'll put it on the screen right here, but this is this beautiful rose gold with a true gold sheen. I mean, look at that. Magical. Now this one was gifted to me by my friend Kat using makeup on Instagram. She had a double of this, so she offered to send it over to me. And that is Heiress on the finger right there. And that is her swatched out. Super pretty. I have to say that out of all the brands that I own, single shadow wise, Clionadh are my favourite single shadow brand for metallics. They have so many different formulas to choose from. They look so shifty on the eyes. Like, you can see that shift on your eyes so easily. As much as I love all the brands in my collection, Clionadh just reigns supreme. Always. Also, in case you're wondering, yes, I'll be picking up some more shadows in the Clionadh restock, and yes, I will do a video showing my Clionadh collection. It's not massive, but it's a decent amount. And the final shadow we have to mention is this Super Shock shadow by Stinky Pop. Now, I personally don't buy from Colourpop anymore, but my friend Kat had an extra of one of these and she offered to send it over to me. And I have never tried Colourpop's Super Shock shadow ever. I know this is what made them popular and put them on the map, but I never tried them. I owned a lot from Colourpop in my past and I never thought to buy one of these Super Shocks. But this is the shade Frog. This is a really nice, like, silver, blue, pink, sparkly shadow with not much of a base colour. I know that Ritz from Colourpop is very similar to this, but a bit more taupey and silver. And as beautiful as Ritz is, I was more drawn to Frog because it does have that similar, like, sheer-based formula, but the sparkles in this are a bit more fun to me. Now, this is such an interesting texture. Like I mentioned, I've never owned a Colourpop Super Shock before, but this is so slick and smooth and squishy almost. It's like a putty. I've never really felt an eyeshadow quite like this. Like, it feels wet. You know what I mean? That sounds a bit gross, but it feels moist. And that's what it looks like on the finger. Now let's swatch Frog out. I feel like this is not really surprising to most of you because I feel like everyone's tried Super Shocks except for myself. But that is like the definition of wetness on your eye. It just looks so glossy and pretty. I'm actually wearing Frog on my eyes today. Ignore the glasses imprints, but I just tapped it with my finger all over my lid to give my eyes a bit more of a glossy look, and this is such a pretty eyeshadow. No, I won't be buying more because I feel like I'm not really interested in buying from Colourpop at the moment, but I'm really glad I got to try this because this formula is fantastic. I really do see why people enjoy it, and it's such an interesting texture. I feel like if you're not the type of person that wears eyeshadow too often and you just want something that's like a one and done eyeshadow, you can grab a Super Shock and just shove it all over your lid with your fingers, and it's just so easy. I did try to apply this with a brush, like a dense brush, and I will say it didn't really work that well. I find that this was best applied with a finger, which is fine because I mostly apply my shimmers with fingers anyways. But those are all of the new single shadows in my collection. Obviously I'm not including the Glam Shop shadows, but I've already done a video on them. I didn't realize I was picking a very distinct color scheme until I put these all together, and I was like, huh. I'm really interested in golds and blues apparently. These are all the shadows all together. They are absolutely stunning and the shifts are so pretty. But anyways, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Do let me know, would you like to see more videos like this on my channel? If I have a handful of eyeshadows from each brand that are new to me but not really enough to make a solo video on them, let me know, would you like to see more of these? Because I think this was really fun. If you'd like to see more makeup content from me, then follow me on my Instagram. It's beautyybyskye right here. I post all of my looks there and I'm active on there every single day. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to have you here. And as always, stay safe, wash your hands, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!